You know, one time it really got up there and stuck there, and he was afraid, how are you going to get, no ladders around, how are we going to get the wash? I says, that's your problem.
I can remember we were talking about Doreen and her saving her candy. She'd get it at Christmas time and she'd have it until Easter. And
Yes.
But you were saying something about now.
Oh, now she's completely different.
She can't keep candy around?
When she was pregnant and even after that, Kenny would, she'd freeze it. And she'd get up during the night and take it out of the freezer so she could have some candy, How much time you got left?
A lot.
You do?
Yes.
So, we had a lot of fun. We had a lot of fun there on when we lived on 8th Street.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And then somebody bought the place, The guy got too old to keep it himself, and so he sold it to a black man, and then we had to move.
Oh, this was the one on 20.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We had to move over to 3rd Street.
No, when we were on 8th Street yet was when we found out that George had diabetes. But before that, every summer George would go away.
It was on 3rd Street when he got diabetes.
Okay, but on 8th Street yet.
Yeah, the summers he would go to South Dakota. Uncle Joe, my brother Andy moved out there. The first year or so he'd go out there, but then when Uncle Joe would invite him out to the farm, because Uncle Joe had all these girls, then George decided, well, that's where he's going to go from now on, So he went out there every summer almost for a long time. Remember, he took the accordion. He had accordion, and you had the guitar.
Yeah, you always bring up the guitar. He was such a smelly teacher. I can remember walking with George to LaDuca's or to play. I was first at Yankovitz, wasn't that the name? On Titonian for guitar lessons.
I don't know.
Frankie Yankovitz, didn't he have a studio?
No, he was maybe it was.
Okay. Some of the things that I remember about you, how you helped everybody out, of course. You. But you would do almost anything for us kids. George had an ethnic food festival at his school one time, and unbelievably, you made tortillas.
Yes, and I didn't even know how.
I know, but you did it.
Uh-huh.
And
Greek foods, too.
Yes.
I can remember the Hobo birthday party you had. We always made good of all the things that we did try. We did try.
When Dad was off of work, I can remember him cooking a little bit for you. And one of the things I remember is leftover canadle with scrambled eggs.
Yes.
And mulligatawny soup. Him coming up with that name, and I finally found out many years later that there was a soup named mulligatawny.
Sure.
But he was telling me that it was a hobo.
Yeah.
Yeah. When he was a young man, there was a story about Dad and one of his friends.
Yeah, Wally Murgott.
What'd they do?
They went out down to Florida. They were going to go to Florida. They got as far as Georgia, and they were without money, and they they slept at the police station. The policeman would say, "I'd rather have you guys come and sleep with us here," And then they gave him some money. He says, "Now you do me a favor and you go back home. There's nothing down there for you guys." So then they came back. But I can remember him writing cards to his mother and things like that. Yes.
He was a stinker.
He looked for good times. He looked for challenges.
Well, sooner or later, we all survived those early years. Dad was involved in AA and other things. We're going to come to the time now when he stopped drinking. 1958, February.
Yes, that's right. Right after you were
Right
married.
after we were married. And
He
what
went-
happened to your
he-
husband from that time on?
Completely different man. Completely different man.
Tell me what your life was like from 1958 until you can just skim over it. What did you do? I mean, how was your life different?
Well, we had gotten grandchildren, you know. And our meals on Sundays, family, no matter how long did that go? Many years, and they all came home to eat on Sundays, and that's the way Dad wanted. Instead of going away, he wanted them to come by him, and there we'd have our big meals. Birthdays, many pictures that we have. We started to travel. Remember?
You had a place up north.
Yes, we had a place up north. And,
Your life was very fulfilled.
Yes, and Dad never did any gardening, and my gosh, did he start gardening. Oh, boy.
Besides building.
All the things, yes. He always, like George said, he was a blessing to be blessed. It was...
Blessed to be a blessing.
Blessing, yes. He wanted to give. He
Had a sense of humor, always wanted to tell jokes.
Yes, yes.
Had nicknames for most of his grandchildren.
Right.
And you traveled where?
Well, we went to Europe. We went to 13 different countries there. England, Scotland, Wales.
Ireland.
We didn't go to Ireland. No, we didn't go to Ireland.
Really?
Then we went across the sea, the North Sea, and we went to Norway, Sweden, Denmark. Then we came down to Amsterdam, and Brussels, and Paris, Germany, Vienna, Italy, Switzerland, back to Germany again, Austria, Vienna.
And then you traveled other places?
Oh, 7 different times down to Mexico. We were to the Yucatans. We were to the, what do they call those? What do they call those people down in the Yucatan? These.
Not the Mexicans?
No, not the Mexicans. They were
Aztecs or?
Yes.
Okay.
That was wonderful.
We're back in Yucatan?
Yeah, back to the Yucatan. Like I said, we've been to Mexico 7 different times. Mexico City, Oaxaca, all along and through there. We had a very good time.
Coming back to the United States?
Where they have the pyramids.
Oh, yes.
That's what we saw down there.
Not Campeche.
Chichen Itza.
Okay.
Chichen Itza, where the ruins are down there. That was a nice trip. And
all because of your son George?
Yes, I think so. Okay. Yes.
Now you had a beautiful place.
We had a place up north, 2 sisters. We bought that with Stanley and Gertie together and had many good times up there. Weekends and during the summer we were up there all the time. A trailer, and then we built a building on the side that for the overflow company.
Did you ever catch Old Joe?
No, I never did. No.
Who was Old Joe?
Well, that fish that lay on the side there in the brushes
Big
there.
muskie?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Had a very good time. I don't think I caught him any. Kitty caught one that won a prize for her, but it wasn't catching the big ones. It was catching
Relaxing.
Oh, I just love fishing.
Okay. In 1975, you bought a trailer out in Germantown.
Well, we lived with you in town there for quite a while. How many years?
Almost 10 years, not quite. Well, it was
I would
8
say
years.
7
8 years.
7 years because Georgia was 7 years old when we moved out there. Out in Germantown, it was a different living, quiet. Then Dad really felt like he had a home.
It was his.
It was his, and he had a little workshop there, and the grass. I think he had the nicest lawn there was there, really.
Christmas time.
And Christmas, he'd decorate the place. He had a big tree, it got bigger and bigger right along, and after a while he had to take a pole